everything is complete. When that is done, if the chief you bought the land from or acquired the land from dies, and a new chief, takes over the stool or takes over the reins of power, he cannot come and ask you to pay any other money. But the one controversial bit of the conversation took place yesterday, where we learned that under the new land law, any land acquired during marriage is for the two spouses, for the spouses in the marriage, for the husband and the wife. So, for example, if Leo marries today, and he buys a land today, and puts the land in his name, well, the land does not belong to him alone. If he buys the land now, then the land is his. But once he enters into a marriage and he buys the land does not belong to him alone, although he might have his name on the land. So he cannot lease that land to anybody. He cannot mortgage that land to anybody. He cannot sell that land to anybody. And Leo himself was not happy with this new land law. You want to know what he said yesterday? Take a listen to what transpired yesterday when the conversation was on.
Hi, my name is Joseph. I'm in Kumasi, and I'm from...
But one aspect of the law that well, it's refusing to play her, but we will still play because I want you to hear what Leo said, yesterday when we had this conversation. So let me try and work on it so we can hear what Leo had to say. But listen, that is the conversation that happened yesterday. Today we want to put a closure, a completion to that whole conversation that began on Tuesday. And please have at the back of your mind that, we are organizing the Love FM Habitat Fair 2023 edition of the Love FM Republic Bank Habitat Fair. Is taking place on the 6th to the 8th of October. And so make a date and be there. All your housing needs will be addressed for you. So let's one more time try and pick up excerpts from the conversation that took place yesterday. So here we go. But one aspect of the law that excites me again has to do with, is it the Article 47, where it talks about couples. Because you know that there are instances where people who, are married, once you're married, you want to do things together in terms of getting property. And so, yes, Section 47 of that law.
Yes.
Section 47 of that law.
Yes.
What does it say? Please read it out for us. Section 47.
Section 47. The heading is restrictions on transfer of land by spouse.
Restriction of transfer of lands by spouse.
By spouse.
So your husband. And I'm told that when this law came up, many husbands were not happy with this. many husbands were not happy with this. So if you're a husband and you think that you're not happy with it, let it be your happiness. Because if you flout the law, you'll be dealt with. What does the Section 47 say?
Like, why is it husbands? My wives can also be culpable.
Many times it's the husbands. Many of the time it's the husbands. Have you heard or read? When I was reading about this for the conversation today, I didn't come across a situation where wives were not comfortable. It's oftentimes the husbands who are not comfortable with it. So men, they do see man. So what does the Section 47 say, please?
Yes, Dave, before I read.
Yeah.
Let me give a preamble.
Okay.
The provision of the law is that once a property is acquired during the subsistence of a marriage.
When you are married.
Mm-hmm. The law assumes that
you acquired it together.
Yes, the property was acquired together.
Even if it's a man who's paid for it.
Yes.
The law says the two of you acquired it together. That's why the men are not happy.
But it could also have been the woman
who acquired it.
I don't think it's a fair law.
Unless
you say it's not a fair law.
Yeah, it's not fair.
Well, go and do contrary to what the law says then.
Yeah, it has to be changed.
I beg you, go ahead.
Unless there's a written agreement that between the spouses, that, for example, I am acquiring this property. My wife have agreed that as for this property, it's mine alone. She does not own it together with me. If that agreement exists.
Now you agree that men argue on this one.
Yeah, I don't.
Now,
please, what does the Section 47 say?
Let's go to Section 47.
Yes, sir.
In the absence of a written agreement to the contrary by the spouses in a marriage, a spouse shall not, in respect of land, right or interest in land acquired for valuable consideration during marriage, sell, exchange, transfer, mortgage, or lease the land, right or interest in land, or enter into a contract for the sale, exchange, mortgage, lease, or lease of the land, right or interest in the land, without the written consent of the other spouse, which consent shall not be unreasonably withheld. And so in sum, you cannot use your property to secure a loan. You cannot transfer it or sell it. You cannot do anything with the land if it was acquired during marriage without the consent in writing of the other spouse.
So if you're a wife right now, you're listening to us, you're still in marriage, right? Maybe there might be some misunderstandings, but you're still in marriage. And your husband worked, he says he worked hard and he acquired the land. He acquired the land on behalf of the two of you. Once that land has been acquired, when the two of you are still married, he cannot sell it, mortgage it, lease it, or do whatever he wants to do with it without your consent. So that's what happened yesterday, all right? And today we want to wrap up that conversation. And I've got with me Kweku Obeng Miracle Esquire. He's a surveyor, he's a lawyer, he's an author, and a consultant with the First Global Real Estate Limited. I know the sacrifices that you have to put in to be with us this morning, so I'm really grateful to you. And good morning to you once again.
Good morning to you too, Dave.
And Kingsley Yasam is CEO, Land and Home Consult. He's also right here. Hi, Kingsley.
Hi, Dave.
You good?
Very good.
All right. So you are for the Section 46 of the new land law.
Oh, I mean, you have to be fair.
Lewis is not for it, actually. And then David Prempe is Estate and Valuation Officer with Asantehene Lands Secretariat. David, good morning to you too.
Good morning, David.
So let me come to you, lawyer. And listeners, I mean, we're wrapping up the conversation on the acquisition of lands today. We are wrapping up today. We're not going to come back to this conversation maybe again till next year or thereabout. So if you have acquired a land, you're in the process of acquiring a land, you want to acquire land, you have questions on your heart or your mind, today is the last opportunity for you to ask any question pertaining to land acquisition and get it. That's what we're doing. Today is the last day. So let me start with you, lawyer. Yesterday it was obvious, and I mentioned it to you. It was very obvious that many people were not satisfied with this new land law, where it says that spouses, once they acquire land whilst in marriage, cannot lease it, mortgage it, sell it, or whatever with it without the consent of the other partner. Many of them are not happy about it. What caution we want to give to spouses on this? Any caution at all you want to give to spouses?
Yes, Dave. The law to me is very fair. We have moved from a period where women, even if when they acquired property, belong to their husbands, to a period where the Supreme Court said it was 50-50. We have moved through certain periods. And so the position of the law now is to ensure that spouses are transparent with themselves and that each spouse contributes to the development and the wealth of the marriage.
Is it an offense if a spouse, and again I like to use a husband, if for example the husband acquires a land in his name, does not tell the wife about it, is that an offense?
It is not an offense, but the punishment is that so long as you hide it, you are still holding in trust for your spouse. So why do you hide it? Why do you hide it?
What else under this new land law do we need to know about? Anything at all you want to share with us on?
Yes, Dave, there's one thing that I want to say in relation to spousal property.
Okay.
Is that the exception to the spousal property is that if the property was acquired by way of gift, you did not contribute money to acquiring it, or you acquire it through a will, your relation willed it to you. It means you did not provide money or you did not exert any effort in acquiring it. That one you do not share equally with your other spouse.
Even when you attain it when you're in marriage?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because if you read the provision well, it says property acquired for valuable consideration.
Okay. So that's a bit of a relief for people like Leo. What the lawyer is saying is that even when you're married, if somebody gives you a land, if somebody wills it to you, once you do not spend money to buy it, it's for you. You don't have to share with your partner.
Okay, Dave, a little in addition to what the senior colleague said. I think there was a famous landmark case in 2021 just after this land law was passed. I think a J versus a J. There was a divorce case. It traveled through the High Court up to the Supreme Court. And then the main bone of contention was what we are discussing, whether the property was jointly owned or not. The Supreme Court sought to give us a new twist to this whole thing. One, he sought to define what jointly ownership means. And there were 3 key terms he used. There was a majority decision. So they talk about direct help, pecuniary help, or a substantial help. Aside that too, they made a very serious pronouncement about the funding of the building. Apparently, the man had taken loan from the bank and he was still servicing the loan to pay for the mortgage. So the court ruled that couldn't have consisted a joint ownership because the subject matter of ownership is even with the financial institution. So that's also a new twist to this whole thing about spousal property and stuff.
Yeah. So that is correct. That decision is correct. But the reasoning for that decision is that so long as you use a loan or a mortgage to acquire property, unless you have finished payment of the loan, the proper title will not pass to you. For example, you want to buy a property from my brother Sam, and then you take a loan from a bank, or you are paying by way of installment. Unless you finish payment, title to the property will not be transferred to you. So at that point, in a J, title had not passed to the husband, and so there could not be joint ownership.
But you are also aware of the Borrowers and Lenders Act that frowns on mortgage serving as a transfer of ownership from the owner of the property.
Yes, that is the principle for a mortgage. But in a J, he was using a mortgage to acquire the property.
Okay.
So until you have finished payment, you know, when you use Borrowers and Lenders Act, I'm already owning the property. Title is already with me.
In my name.
So when I go and secure a loan and use my property as a security, it does not transfer title to the property, to the lender.
But bottom line, what we've learned this morning, one new thing that we've learned this morning is that if you are still married and somebody gives you a land or somebody wills it to you, it belongs to you alone. But when you purchase it or acquire it using some resources, then it belongs to the two of you. That's one thing we need to make clear here. Is there anything else in the landlord, new landlord?
I wanted to ask lawyer if in a J and a J after the mortgage has been discharged,
what happens?
Would the property come back for it to be shared equally? Because even though you use a mortgage to acquire the property, you were still married and you were still.
That was where we think the court.
Because the resources are still being used. I mean, what money was used to service the mortgage? It's money from the marriage or money that you earned when you were still married to your spouse. You get it?
Yes, I get it. We are talking about a point of acquisition. If during when the marriage was in existence, you were able to complete payment of the mortgage, then it's a joint property. But if the marriage was dissolved before you finish payment of the loan, then it becomes an individual.
Then what happens to the terms that you paid when you were in the marriage? Maybe the mortgage is 30 years and you were in the marriage for 10 years of the mortgage. That what happens to
we are not talking about partial acquisition. We are talking about complete acquisition.
Okay, so with that case, Dave, lawyer, we all think that case has given us a whole new twist to this whole thing, because the main underlying thing they also said was that the presumption that is joint ownership, because it's cast and dusted in the Lands Act, doesn't really mean that way. But
David, one other beautiful thing is this: what we learned yesterday, that when in doubt, instead of picking up machetes and guns and fighting each other, go to court.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that.
That's
so a J might be a different case that was handled. Yours might be different, so we can move away from that. Yeah, but let's talk about how long one would have the tenancy for. That's 99 years, isn't it? Let me throw it on to you, David. Yes. The tenancy issues here.
Okay, how long someone will have a tenancy for? 99 for Ghanaian, and then 50, nothing more than 50 for a non-Ghanaian.
A non-Ghanaian, again, if it has to do with somebody who wants to do some business with it, like a factory industry and stuff like that.
So, okay, residential use is 99 years. Any other use for a Ghanaian
is 50.
Is 50.
All right.
But for a non-Ghanaian, whether residential or any other use, is 50.
And as much as possible today, what we want to do is to hear from our listeners much more than ourselves from the studios.
That's fine.
So like we do already, our WhatsApp number is 055-1111-995. All right, that's our WhatsApp number. It's 055-1111-995. Our telephone lines are 03220-83596, 03220-83597, and 03220-83598. Any question you want addressed this morning pertaining to land acquisition, these are the people who will give you the right answers. We've done so much from Tuesday through to yesterday. We want to wrap up today. But we want to start this morning's conversation by going on to our WhatsApp console, because yesterday several people had their questions unanswered. Yeah. So we want to start with the WhatsApp console this morning. So Leo Stanley is a man in it. Some of you sent voice notes. Some of you asked questions by typing them and all. So you can still bring more and it will be addressed for you. 055-1111-995. Leo Stanley, are you ready? Yes. All right, so let's roll then.
Hi, my name is Joseph. I'm in Kumasi, and I'm from Rabito Clinic, and I would like to invite you all to our clinics. We have 2 branches in Kumasi. One is at
Dave, what is being discussed? It means that if your partner acquires a property and refuses to add your name, if he acquires a land and he refuses to add your name on a property, as a woman, you don't need to worry. That's what they are telling us. We don't need to worry. You don't need to bother the men that, oh, why is my name not on the property and all that. We should be relaxed, isn't it?
Yes, that is it. You don't need to worry.
Once the property was acquired when you guys were married, so you know when you were married, the date is there. You know when the property was acquired, it is also there. So no need to worry. David, you want to ask something?
Okay, my brother here was drawing my attention to the fact that we have tenancy in common and joint tenancy. Now, with the leases that we are engrossing, we always suggest that you come clear on which one you want to. If you're a spouse and you are having a joint ownership, you come clear on that. Which one you want, the tenancy in common or the joint tenancy. The joint tenancy, when one dies, the interest goes to the other person straight.
Okay.
But something we are holding in common, your heirs or your successors can succeed your part of the bit of the interest when you're not there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I hear. All right, so Leo.
Okay, so this one says, I bought a land at a time when there was no chief and the committee was put in place to sell the land. Since there was no chief to do the papers, it was only a receipt that was given to me. Now there is a chief who was demanding. Now there is a new chief who is demanding money before giving me the papers. What is your view? And this one also says,
no, let's take it one after the other. Okay. Let's take it one after the other. So please, did you get a question?
Yes, we got it. Yeah.
So what's the answer to that question?
Well, so I'll take that. So for me, once he has a receipt, I think we answered part of this question.
Yeah, so somebody called yesterday actually before this message. Yeah.
It's similar, but it's a bit different because yesterday's the chief was like, no, I'm not going to give the land to you. Today the chief is like, but
this one, the person is holding the document.
Receipt. He has something to prove that he pays.
But even I'm talking about the chief is refusing to give the documentation to the person who acquired the land.
Yes, so that's what I'm trying to take, right? So it's more of negotiations, because then the interim management committee, the IMC,
it actually says they are taking 8,000 and the land was acquired 18 years ago.
Yeah, exactly, before the chief came, right?
That bit about time value of money.
Exactly.
Because the land, when the person decides to sell the land now, the person will obviously not sell it how much the person.
The price is better than some years ago,
yeah.
So you have to be considerate
and negotiate. And so he has to pay something.
But can this happen even when the person has had all the necessary documentation completed?
At least registered, no.
So that's where the problem comes in again. So for those of you who say we have acquired lands, but have not seen through the process completely, that is when some of this can happen to you. Yeah. But if your documentation is complete, from the allocation to the Tuvo Land Secretariat to the Lands Commission, and you have everything done, no chief can come and claim some of these things. So have that at the back of your mind. Leo Stanley, please.
This one too, I think he sent a message the day before. He says, good morning to your panelists. I was told my questions will be asked today. Please, can something be done about the years given to a buyer on the allocation paper? I, for instance, took a loan from the bank for a payment plan of 3 years, in which I completed with the payment April 2023. And the allocation gives me me 2 years to develop. How do I do that as a civil servant in this our economy?
Okay, so I remember yesterday I asked that same question.
Yes.
And then we were told that you can go and negotiate.
Yes.
Because the law allows you to negotiate with the chief. If you don't do a negotiation, then the chief.
Genuine reasons why you've not been able to develop.
Okay, so that's an answer to you. Leo, please, what's the next one you have?
Okay, so these are new ones that are coming. Can I play them? All right.
Good morning, Dave. My name is Lois from Kokobin. So, the Section 47 of the Lands Act is a very interesting one. But one thing that I think I want us to also discuss, I don't know if the LI specifies what is marriage. Does the LI give additional information as to what constitutes marriage? Because that can also be a very controversial subject. That can create a lot of issues, for most people. So if lawyer can give some more details as to what constitutes marriage, the law.
I'm sure that we all know what marriage is, but for the benefit of the person's question, I don't have the Mohammedan.
Yes, we have the Mohammedan marriage, we have the ordinance marriage, and we have customary
marriage. Right.
So if your relationship is not under any of these three,
it is not marriage.
It's not marriage.
So for those of you who are living with people and you are living with them, and sister wife say, she's looking for you, you're sleeping with her, you're making babies and all that. That is how I read.
And the side chicks too are not part.
No.
Good morning. Please, my question is, what about if your husband builds on a family land? Let's say one plot of land, and then you share with other siblings as a husband, and then you happen to build on your portion of land while in marriage. What happens to the house? Is it for the family, as in your siblings, or your wife can claim ownership, or how is it done?
Okay, so I'm being told now that it's quite common in Ghana. What's the answer, lawyer?
Yes, family land remains family land. No matter the investment you make in it. The only way for family land to become personal land is when the family, through the family head, with the consent and concurrence of all the family elders, transfer it to you. Then it becomes a personal property.
So, David, will you advise that somebody would invest by putting up a building on a family land when all this documentation has not been changed?
No, I wouldn't advise. I wouldn't advise that because what prevents the person, if he has the means to erect a building, what prevents the person from acquiring the land in his or her own?
But can you have a bit of a contract, between the family? So instead of we going to rent, we have some money. We don't want to acquire land ourselves. We want to build on this family land. Can you give it to us? Some lease.
It depends on the nature of ownership. If the ownership is in common, it still remains common. Even if the person dies, it goes into the family. The lineage. In the family.
Once you put a house on that family land, the family head can one day get up and say, listen, me too because the land is mine.
No.
Okay, you can't do that. So what then can happen? What are the protection that people who have built on it have?
Yeah, Dave. Once you are a family member, you have every right to use a family property, but you cannot personalize it.
Yeah.
So if you put a structure or a building on a family land, you have every right to use and stay in that building till your death.
What if they say they want their land back? They want to use the land for something else.
You are part of the family.
You are part of the family. So the decision
But
taking,
if the intention is for the greater good of the family, you also be taking off.
Okay, I hear you.
But then there are cases where somebody wants to say pull down the family house and build stores.
Yes.
And then one person, everybody is in agreement, but one person maybe with a little bit more money says "Mempene." Then how do you go about that?
No, you see, it is the family that decides. In every family, you have objections.
Yeah.
If the majority, especially the principal elders of the family, decide, an individual cannot say we will not move on.
The new Lands Act is very clear on that.
Okay.
The family head, together with key principal elders.
But again, you and I know that the person in the family who has the biggest kwacha, the money, calls the shots. we all know that. Leo, please.
That's lobby.
But he has influenced all of them. So what do you expect? So, Leo, please.
Okay, this one says, what is the first step to take after identifying the land and knowing the seller?
David?
The first step to take after
identify the land and knowing the seller. The owner of the land who's selling.
Okay, you have to also identify which kind of interest you want to associate yourself with. We dealt with the types of interest, the allodial, freehold, customary freehold, common law freeholds, and the usufruct. You have to know which one you're acquiring. But in these instances, I'm sure it's a leasehold. So you identify which person. If it's in the primary market, you see the chief and get yourself an allocation. In the secondary market, there are other transactions to assignments and other stuff.
All right. So, like we keep saying, ask any question pertaining to land. Any question pertaining to land, and they get the right answers.
He's supposed to do his search, know if there are any encumbrances. You
iron them out. It's as simple as that. All right. So, Leo, yes, still with Leo Stanley.
Yeah, Dave. Good morning. I learned that my name is Benjamin. Anyway, I learned that. If you stay on a particular land for, let's say, 10 years, the land automatically becomes yours. For example, or assuming there's a vacant land and somebody is occupying that land, the land doesn't belong to him or her. But once the person stays on the land for 10 good years without anybody coming to claim the land automatically becomes yours. How true is this?
All right, so I have heard similar stories where we're told that somebody owns the land and then you come to an agreement and say, somebody does kakra. What does kakra was structure was not team. If after some years, the person doesn't come to claim the land, then you become owner of the land.
That provision was just to encourage development.
Does it still exist?
It still exists. It's been modified, but it's an equitable provision. He can't use it as a shield.
Okay.
As a sword, sorry. He can only use it as a shield when he's been attacked to forcibly move from the land he's developed over a period of time.
Can we read the law verbatim and get to understand?
I think I'll leave that to lawyer.
Yeah, so Laura Miko, please.
Yes, Dave, from what I know from the Land Act, it used to be 12 years. If you stay on any land for 12 years continuously.
Okay. Doing what on the land? Farming, residing.
You have built, you have doing business on it for 12 continuous years.
Okay.
We call it adverse possession.
Yeah. Okay.
But now the Land Act has modified it and says that for government land or state land, you can stay on it for 1,000 years. It will still not be yours.
Okay.
It is to protect public land.
So that's for state lands?
For state land.
Okay.
But for stool and family lands, that provision is still intact.
Still 12 years?
Yes.
So I stay on the land 12 years, it becomes mine automatically. Do I have to pay something or what?
You don't pay anything.
Wow.
Because once you are paying something to that person, the original owner, it means you are a tenant to that person.
So if you have a land and you've given it out to somebody to farm on, or the person is a caretaker person and has put some wooden structure on it, make sure that you go visit the place and say, Charlie, you're still the owner. Because after 12 years, you lose that land. Leo.
Dave, good morning. Per what was discussed yesterday, and the American man say, ye couldn't more concern as I say one family and come they say no, say relax. Just relax. Let's play our role as wives and women. They relax. Ye din was so, ye din is so. They say ye who ye stand. It's a Juma may request a mammy man and say, oh da, we need problem.
You see why the men were and are not happy with this section 47 of this land new land law.
The mind day.
And then see why the women are also excited about it. All right, so any more messages? All right, so what we can do now is to go onto the phone lines. All right, you can call us now on 03220-83596, 03220-83597, and 03220-83598. Any question you want answers to pertaining to land, the experts are here. Erasmus, good morning and welcome.
Yeah, good morning, Uncle Dave.
So, Erasmus, welcome and let's hear you.
Yeah, Uncle Dave, my question is, if you happen to purchase the land from a family, the family has a chief within the community. Then after buying the land, another chief within the same community comes to tell you that the allocation paper given to you from the chief of that family that is not valid, and that he should issue another allocation to you before you can probably use the land. Is that doesn't make any sense.
All right, so Erasmus, they have noted your question down. They're going to answer the questions for you. So that's Erasmus there. We have Sahini and we have Abraham as well. Let's now speak to So, gentlemen, do you have the question of Erasmus?
Yes, please.
Very good. So let's speak to Sahini now. Sahini, good morning and welcome.
Good morning and thank you very much.
You're most welcome, sir. What's your question, sir?
Is, this churches, that is one-man church. If the church members contribute money in aid of land acquisition and they buy the land and the church collapses, I mean the one-man churches, who does the land, who does it belong to? I want to know.
I hear you, Sahini. Thank you very much. Do we have Abraham on the line?
Yes.
Hi, Abraham. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for the opportunity.
You're most welcome, sir.
It's if I, in a way, given a farmland and I pay whatever the person asks me to pay, and he prepares the document, and then I plant, for this instance, cashew. Does it becomes mine forever or until the cashew dies off? Thank you.
I hear you. All right, so gentlemen, any of you can pick up the questions and address them for me. Let me start off with Mr. Miracle.
Yes, Dave. I will start with Abraham's question. He's talking about tenancies, customary tenancy or tenancy agreement. That is under Section 7 of the Lands Act. And there are 3 ways of resolving this issue. First of all, it depends on the contract between you and the person who released the land to you. And there are 3 ways to do that. First, it may be that you agree to share between you and the person who released the land to you, let me say your landlord, the cashew, the proceeds, when you harvest every year. The sharing can be 50-50 or 70-30. So that is an agreement you have to sign with the landlord when you are starting the farm.
You need to sign. You need to have an agreement.
You have to have an agreement. Okay. It may be written or oral, but there must be an agreement.
But who proves the oral bit of it? Because I can challenge it. I mean, once it's not documented, how do I prove that?
So the one in law, we say he who alleges must prove. So if you are saying it is 50-50, then you have to prove it.
Okay.
That is why we always advise that it's better you put it into writing.
Or put it on your phone. When you're recording your conversations, it's also good, huh? All right, so next one. There was another question. Erasmus, yes.
Erasmus bit had to do with what we explained earlier, the due diligence process. You need to know which caretaker chief of that area. The family system, yes, is in Ashanti region, it's in the Kumasi traditional area, but it's not recognized in the documentation processes. What we recognize in the Kumasi traditional area are locations from the caretaker chiefs. So the person can be an Odikro, parading himself as a paramount chief at the area. You have to do your due diligence and go beyond that. Secure a rightful allocation from the caretaker chief of the area.
I think there was another question.
Yeah, yes. And to add to before we come to that question, to add to what David said, sometimes too it can arise from.
I beg David Prempe said. I'm also David, so I don't want to listen to that. David also Prempe.
So yeah, thanks. So sometimes too there can be disputes. Boundary dispute like between 2 chiefs. So this one sells, the one on the left sells, the one on the right also says, no, this place is not for the one on the left, it's mine. So if you've bought it from the wrong chief. So these are some of
the boundary issues.
Yes.
But the demarcations are known at the Tunfor Land Secretariat?
No, we have a lot of boundary disputes among the chiefs themselves.
Okay.
So if there's a boundary, if you are within the overlap area,
you're in trouble.
You are in trouble.
Saheli's question then.
Yes.
The one-man church.
Dave, the one-man church. I don't want to go into details of church ownership. But the question is the answer is simple. If the church was registered as a limited liability company, once the church collapses, it goes to the shareholders who will distribute the asset and share it.
Okay.
But most of the cases, churches are registered as NGOs. And so they will have a board of trustees. And so it is the board of trustees who will decide what to do with the assets.
Okay.
And not the church members.
Not the church members.
So we spoke to Erasmus, to Sahini, and Abraham. Now we're going to speak to Salam and two other people. So we're going to have Salam, Benjamin, and Emmanuel. Salam, you are next on the line, are you? Good morning, Salam.
Yeah, good morning.
All right, welcome, Salam. Let's hear you.
Yeah, David, I think there is something they have to clear. You know, in terms of marriage, we have the ordinance, right, and we have the customary, right. And based on the customary, you have right to marry more than one wife. If I'm making a mistake, they should correct me. And in this case, I don't think a woman should say because she's married to that man, that means maybe she's the first wife now. She has right to get possession of his land properties. Because in this case, we some cases as a Muslim, you can get married to more than 2 wives, 3 wives. So in this case, how would you want to say a woman will come out and say, oh, she has right to his property?
Okay, Salam, thank you very much. Well understood, but very simple answer coming up your way. Benjamin, please, good morning.
Hello. Good morning, officers. Thank you very much for the education.
What's your contribution?
Okay, yeah, I want to put something across that if the land is gifted to the husband or the wife, and there's a breakup, it's not part of the property that to be shared. It only belongs to the person who has been gifted to. So that's what I want to say now.
Okay, so Benjamin, thank you very much. Do we have Emmanuel on the line? Hi, Emma.
Hello, Dave.
Yeah, Emmanuel, let's hear you.
I have a question for lawyer. I have an uncle, an illiterate uncle, sold the land to some people, and it's sort of a school, and they are saying it was an outright purchase. Is there anything like that? Because the land is a family land. I don't know whether there can be re-entry because I'm worried about it.
All right, outright purchase. I hear you. So Salam talks about multiple, wives, customary, like the Muslim, the Muhammadan. You have 3 wives or so, and you have a property. What's the response?
Yeah. So Dave, if you have more than 1 or 2 or 3 wives, it is a joint property. So the husband owns the property together with all his wives.
No matter what point the second and the third were married.
No, once they were validly married. Let's say the scenario is complex.
My question is this.
Yes.
So you are the Alaji here.
Yes.
And then you married Salamatu.
Yes.
And then you acquired the land.
Yes.
With Salamatu in the marriage.
It belongs to the 2 of you.
Then 5 years later you marry Aishetu.
Yes.
Aishetu came at a time when he had already purchased that land.
Yes.
Is she still part of the property?
No, she will not be part of the property that had been acquired before
she came. So the ones that she came to witness,
yes,
then she's part of it. That's the clarity. That's the clarity I was looking for.
So that means if there is no other property acquired during the time of Salamatu, then Aishetu is the one who will.
Yes.
Oh yes. Simony. Benjamin's question, please.
Benjamin didn't have a question. He was confirming that if you are married and a spouse is gifted,
They
gifted your land.
Benjamin, you're right. You're right. Then Emmanuel, outright purchase.
Outright purchase.
Dave, there's nothing like outright purchase. In Ghana, we don't sell land. We lease land.
Okay.
So no family can say that I have transferred my entire interest to somebody. It means that the family will now become landless, and no family wants to be placed in such a position.
Okay.
I think it wasn't the family; it was the people who bought it. He says the uncle is illiterate,
yes,
right? So the people that bought it for a school were like, "Who of our Tomami outright?" That's his problem.
That was run against the
Constitution. He says the uncle is an illiterate. The uncle is an illiterate and all that. Exactly. Whether illiterate or illiterate, the law is a law. You understand? So that's what it is. We're going to take another batch of calls, and let's start off with Opoku Ajiman. But the number to call us is 03220 83596, 03220 83597, and 03220 83598. Any question about land? Final days today. We're wrapping up. Opoku Ajiman, good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Dave.
Let's
and good morning to your panel members. And please, my question is: does a chief like a newly installed chief has the power to tell a whole community, the people, those building, those who have acquired the land and everything, to stop working. And for almost 2 years, nobody is working on the land. When you decide to go there, you use land guards and people to fight you. And the last thing is, I want to ask a lawyer too, and then the ladies, why do they always think that men will first die? And they are always happy about this thing. Thank you.
Why do they think men will first to die?
This question,
and then his other question, where a chief can come and say, listen, nobody should work on the vast lands that they have acquired, and if you do, he brings land guards. He's doing some wrong thing under the law. But you can call us on 03220-83596, 03220-83597, and 03220-83598. Lawyer, please.
Yes, Dave, on the question of the chief using land guards to stop people from working on their land. If you have validly acquired the land and have registered it, like you have a lease, I don't think any chief can do what he's saying they are doing there. If you don't have proper documentation, the chief will want to also exert his power to ensure that you have proper documentation. But the law under section 12C protects anybody who has validly acquired land and says that the person who personally or through another person unlawfully uses force or violence to prevent a person who has an interest in land from having access to the land, or drives away that person with an interest in the land from the land, commits an offense.
Yeah, and that's why we talk about up to 180,000 fine, and then up to 15 years, in prison. So you can decide, either you as an individual or collectively as people who have acquired the lands, go to court on this. The chief would serve 15 years in jail,
provided he has the right
180,000, fine, or even both.
Yeah, David, and so this is where we are talking about finishing your documentation, because once you have the law is protecting the people that have the interest. So once you are not done it's very difficult. And the issue of land guards, I think the same Land Act has prohibits the use of land guards. I think the other time we were discussing this with the police hierarchy, and I don't know if it's true, I can be corrected, right? But I think now the police treat land guards as armed robbers. It's like they even have like shoot on sight commands. Yes. So if you're a land guard, this thing is going to you, as a land guard, I think you should stop your work because it's very illegal now.
I need to find out.
To be a land guard.
Because I remember the shooting incident that took place in Accra, where some people were purported to be land guards and they were shot. Botiano, English Botiano or something.
But these land guards have guns,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If a policeman sees you and you have a gun.
Charlie, listen, Fido's highest loan is now an impressive 4,000 Ghana cedis. Starting small is the key to big things. Begin with a loan of 200 Ghana cedis and pay on time, and you could see your loan limit grow to 4,000 Ghana cedis. Now tell Paddy, so I've told you, Lawyer Miracle. Yeah, Paddy, I've told you. Get money, spread the word. When you refer friends to Fido and they take a loan, you'll earn 15 Ghana cedis and your Paddy gets 10 Ghana cedis when they repay. It's a winning combo. And so getting the Fido app is an easy way to do. Just dial *998*9# to apply Fido on the App Store or Play Store. Apply today, shine your eyes. Remember to watch out for tricksters pretending to be Fido. Fido will never ask you to pay money before getting a Fido loan. So have that at the back of your mind. Still more good news to share, because in today's Ghana, 3 Ghana cedis can no longer pay for your chibom, and of course 45 Ghana cedis is not enough for a bag of cement. Thanks to Prudential Life Insurance Ghana's Mekakrawa, you can secure your future and that of your loved ones with as little as 3 Ghana cedis. Mekakrawa protects you and one dependent in the event of death, critical illness, and total permanent disability. Dial *778# on MTN today and join the Mekakrawa family and protect your future. Do that now and you'll be glad you did. I got some beautiful message from MTN to share with you, and the question is, are you ready to treat your callers to good tunes while you win incredible rewards? Well, earn points by purchasing, renewing, copying, or gifting your favorite caller tunes, and you can win amazing prizes based on your total accumulated points. Yep, Build as many points as possible, and you can win tons of data to stay connected to the things you love, or you can win as many as an amazing 10,000 Ghana cedis cash prize to splash on your favorite things. It's a perfect way to entertain your callers with music and get rewarded at the same time. Start collecting your Caller Tunes points today. Visit Caller Tunes, that is callertunes.mtn.com.gh, or you can just dial star 1355 hash to get started on the MTN Caller Tunes service. Promo lasts till the 7th of October 2023, but don't forget that terms and conditions apply. Now let's talk about your gensets. Now, Anointed Electrical Engineering Services Limited is into sales of ultra-silent generators from 5 kVA to 2,500 kVA, and they also undertake maintenance and repairs of all kinds of diesel engine generators. They also stock genuine spare parts of all kinds of various generators, and also do generator rentals as well. So that word in that phone now, make sure that you have a backup genset just in case the power fails you. You have a power to sustain the program to go on. You can find them at TAT Yard of the Ak Mayanka Road here in Kumasi at Asokwa. In Accra, they are at the head office can be found at number 77 Anointed House of the Odoko Malam Road. Call them on 0243 480 334. It is 0243 480 334 or 0544 340 589. There's still good news in the air, because if you go to Ahunjo Goa filling station right now, many drivers are smiling. Hello, Kumasi, get ready for an experience at the newly constructed Ahunjo Goa filling station. Now, the Goa filling station was opened to the public on the 25th of August 2023, and they are giving free fuel to all drivers, both private and commercial. Now, they are giving 2 gallons free fuel to 30 drivers in the morning. It starts at 6 a.m. and then 2 gallons free fuel to 30 drivers in the afternoon. That starts at 4 p.m. It began on the 1st of September. It's ending on the 10th of September. Today is the 7th of September. Do the calculation and the mathematics. You have about 3 more days to go. So this means that free fuel for 60 cars a day for 10 days, and that's about 600 cars. That's not all. They are also giving drivers free t-shirts, free key holders, and exercise books for their children, and free textiles for their wives. They are not just filling your tanks, they are fueling your experience. Now, their experienced and friendly staff are there to ensure that your visit is nothing short of exceptional, from helping you with your fueling needs to answering any question you might have. So the next time you want to buy fuel, or you think about fuel, drive straight to the newly constructed Ahunjo filling station for an experience. Well, good energy. So to you, Big Sam, that is Kinsley. To you, David Osuprempe, and of course to you, Lawyer Mriku. On behalf of our team, I'd like to say a big thank you to all of you, and we hope to see you again before we end the Love FM Republic Bank Habitat Fair. All right, so we'll see you again. But before even we do that, what is your preferred tank in terms of color? Well, Syntex has it. What guarantee do you want? Syntex has it. And of course, what kind of inner layer do you want? Are we talking about double, triple, quadruple? The answer is as many inner layers as you want. Syntex has it too. So remember, no matter your water needs, Syntex has it. Syntex tank, are you strong, are you tough? They have over 300 agents nationwide, and to order a tank, all you need to do is to call 0244 335 168. Visit Syntex on social media at Syntex Ghana, or you can shop online on www.syntexgh.com. Like I said, Syntex tank, are you strong, are you tough? Is there anything you'd like to say before you take leave of us? Big Sam, any final words?
Dave, thank you very much for having us in your studio, and thank you to all the listeners that tuned in. Well, we are still having the Habitat Fair it's going to be at the mall, right?
The Kumasi City Mall.
Kumasi Mall. So I encourage everybody to pass through and ask questions with regards to lands available for sale, genuine lands that are available for sale. I also like them to come around. Those who have issues with their property, they can come around. Daniel, are you setting up tents this year?
Oh, yeah, they'll be there. Don't worry.
Daniel will be there.
The two fellas secretary, the last will be there.
So documentation issues.
Yeah.
And those who have not completed their homes, like there are a couple of products from the banks and other financial
institutions. It's more one of our main sponsors, the Republic Bank, the best mortgage, bank in Ghana. They'll be joining us for a conversation tomorrow. So make a date with us. Yeah.
So they should pass through, and then we'll have a nice time at the mall.
All right,
Thank you
David.
Yeah, Dave. I think I would like to encourage the general public to take their time, do more diligence on any piece of land. they shouldn't just look at the physical land and pay for it. They have to spend time to find out a lot. If possible, engage experts to assist them in the acquisition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And there's a name they call you by.
Chosa.
Chosa.
It's Chosa.
Chosa, your final words.
Yes, my final words are that people who are interested in acquiring land should consult lawyers and surveyors because it is a complex area that they need experts to advise them. They shouldn't think about the amount of money they are going to pay as professional fees.
Okay.
If you compare the professional fees to the value of the property, it can possibly lose. It is peanuts.
All right.
So they should consult.
When I read literature in sixth form, I read a book, Chaucer. So.
Yes, the countable tales.
The countable tales. Yes. Wake up to a new taste of Big O Cola. Nothing comes close to Big O Cola, a drink of joy, both cold and sweet. Big O drink is a range